Hello, welcome to the second of the History Through Games Frontline videos. This one will be where we start the main campaign. I should say the only campaign, this is before DLC was a thing. And for that, I do have to mention that this game is, for those who have played Medal of Honor, or really any World War II shooter, kind of your archetypal early 2000s World War II shooter. We're going to start at Omaha Beach, as you could probably expect with what kind of game this is. And it is, if to a lesser extent than Stablemate Allied Assault, still going to be very Saving Private Ryan in video game form. That being said, there's enough differences that it's not identical by any stretch either. I should also note here, if you're coming into this expecting elite 100% expert gameplay, yeah, leave right now. I may have been playing this game for 20 years, but that doesn't mean I am by any means an excellent player. I get through it, but toss in having to explain history at the same time, and yeah, I'm going to be playing this on easy. Unless you want to see me fail multiple times. That being said, a little bit of background history on the game before we start. Frontline is your first GameCube Medal of Honor game. Not your first console game, because Medal of Honor started on console, but first GameCube one. It does show its age in that regard. It's not exactly the fanciest game in any stretch, but it does what it needs to do, and I, at least, maintain one of the funner games in the series. Honestly, it's before it started to go downhill a bit. Since I accidentally lost the recording the first time I did this, that's why I've already gone through here. But I'll go back to the first part of the mission and play through that again real quick. Again, basically Saving Private Ryan in video game form. Classic thing there, they all look the same, because again, this is a GameCube game from the early 2000s. Man, look at the jawline on these guys.
Bandit! 9 o'clock! It's down!
Mildly surprising they used Stuka there. And that probably shows some use. Which is as good a point of any to pause and go over the Higgins boat a little bit. Basically designed to be as cheap and easy to produce as humanly possible, Higgins boats are small, lightly built, pretty slow, but they carried a lot of men, they were easy and cheap to make, and we made a lot of them. There's a reason that they're the classic landing craft you see in anything involving D-Day, whether it be Omaha Beach or, in the case of a couple of the Call of Duty games, Utah Beach. Though, of course, everyone goes for Omaha. It's the one everyone knows. Whenever I get to the Call of Duty games that cover Utah, I'll have more to talk about because that one isn't covered as much. Still nothing for the Canadian or British beaches, though. Everyone forgets they were there. At least everyone who makes video games.
30 seconds!
Alright, listen up. When the ramp drops, move out. If you get lost, look for me.
Pressing start shows your objectives, pretty standard. Everyone here, except for the captain, is using a M1 Garand. That is actually fairly accurate. By this point, most American infantrymen are going to be using a Garand. Some will have Thompsons, some will have grease guns. The days of using Springfields are pretty much gone, unless you're in a Marine Corps, in which case, sucks to be you. You're stuck with the bolt-action rifle for a good chunk of the early war. The Navy is the one who ran the landing crafts, even though we're Army troops inside them here.
10 seconds!
Stay with me and we'll get through this. We've got to take that beach.
Pretty standard
Clear the ramp!
hence there. Leaving aside that really should have killed us, bullets probably wouldn't be working that way if you've ever watched Mythbusters, but it makes for good cinema, even in a video game, so there you go. As should be familiar to anyone who's played Medal of Honor games,
Get over here.
using the beach traps for cover. The big wooden ones are designed to stop landing craft. They'll run into it, crash on it. Some of them are fitted with explosives to blow a hole in them. The other ones are tank traps. Again, should be familiar to anyone who's played these games or watched Saving Private Ryan. Not the best cover, but you use what you have available.
We've got a hell of a mess here. That artillery strike scattered what's left of our squad all over the beach. 4 of our boys over there. Help them move up the beach to the seawall. Damn it! I'll give you some covering fire. Now move out!
This is also an older game where medical canteens and health packs and health bars were a thing. Not the most realistic thing in the world, but it is more realistic than later games like Medal of Honor, copying Call of Duty, where you just get shot a lot, the screen goes red, find some cover. Hey, I wasn't just shot. Now right here I'm switching to the 1911. You would wonder why I'm going to use a pistol to shoot at the bunkers, but the game just tracks you're shooting at the bunker. It doesn't track what you're shooting it with. So there's not really much point in wasting the rifle ammo when I have a pistol I'm probably not going to use anyway. As for the 1911, anyone who knows firearms should know standard pistol. Everyone using it back then.
Windows, I can make a run for the shingle. Ready when you are.
Like I said, doesn't track hitting, just tracks that you're shooting it.
Hey! Give me some cover or I'll get the hell out of here!
Shell craters are also good for cover. You use what you have with that kind of thing. Sometimes it's not great, but if you have it, you use it.
Covering fire! On it!
Compass doesn't actually point to your objective like it does in Allied Assault, but
Give me some cover!
you get used to it after you've played it a while. That's what the hints are for.
Iverson, get out there and retrieve those Bangalore! Damn it! We gotta get the wire cleared! Patterson, you're up! Get over here! Private Jones has enough Bangalores to clear a hole in the wire, but he's pinned behind that Belgian gate down the line. Help Jones back to our position. We'll give you cover fire. Wait for my order. Covering fire!
Belgian gates are another type of trap.
Go, go, go!
I didn't need the hints there, I'm just using it as a demonstrator thing.
Patterson! I won't make it back with this load of Bangalores unless you give me cover. Stay behind me and keep shooting. Ready?
Bangalore torpedoes are basically pipes filled with a ton of high explosive, designed explicitly for blowing up barbed wire and stuff like that. You watch Saving Private Ryan, if you played these games, you know what they
Good work,
are, at
Patterson.
least to a certain
All right,
extent,
Jones, let's blow this fence.
because you've seen them
Fire
before.
in the hole! Fire in the hole!
You put the pipe in, put more pipes in as needed, they do that.
Defilade on the other side! Everybody, over the seawall!
Thompson ammo for a guy who doesn't have a Thompson. That's the game giving you a hint about the next mission.
Patterson, get over here, now! We'll never get inside that bunker unless we lose the 2 machine gun nests guarding it. Patterson, if you can make it across that minefield to the turret, you can use it against those nests up there. We'll cover you. Covering fire! Now, Patterson, go now!
Classic old school game here. The MG42 does not overheat. You can press the trigger and it will never stop shooting as long as you're holding down that trigger. Which isn't really realistic, but you make some exceptions with games this old. You wouldn't be for a while before overheating machine guns became a common thing. And even then it's overheating instead of needing to reload. Relatively few games actually make you reload the things, even today. You also can't zoom in with these things. Isn't an issue when they're right there. It is an issue when you're trying to shoot distant targets like those machine gun emplacements. This is the last objective of the mission. That's the classic way a game like this would keep you from going back when you start the next mission. Blowing up the way to go back.
You earned your pay today, Patterson. Now let's move out.
There's the end of the mission. I didn't actually say it when I was doing it, but this is an older game. Cannot reload a Garand in between clips. You have to shoot the entire clip to reload it. That becomes a big problem later on when you're trying to save ammo, because the last few missions of Frontline is very rough on ammo. But it is what it is. Old game, you kind of just take what you can get with them. Anyway, that was the end of the first Medal of Honor Frontline mission. D-Day is somewhat similar to Allied Assault, split into multiple smaller missions, and that was just the first one. In the next episode, we will go over the attack on the bunker, and I will go over more of the history of Omaha Beach, those bunkers in particular, and the weapons used on both sides. Until then, I hope you like, subscribe, and stick around for the next one.